Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies. Today we are reviewing a movie, a children's movie, at the request of a, what would you want to call a subscriber? It's called Kung Fu Panda 4.
Uh-oh, I almost thought you said the C word. Anyways, I think I should speak about the movie first because I'm the one who's seen the majority of the movies. I have not seen the show.
The show?
I guess there's some kind of Netflix show that had like 2 seasons.
Really?
I don't really watch Netflix shows because Netflix cancels their shows before they even have like 5 seasons. And also Netflix totally they release all the episodes in the same day, and I don't like that at all. So I don't really watch Netflix shows. And then apparently there's some like specials, like there's like a holiday special or something, but I've seen the first one, I've seen the third one, and I like both of them. I obviously like the first one more. And I would say that in general, the original Kung Fu Panda is a classic kids movie. It was one of the few movies that I didn't despise being put on all the time, like in summer camps, in school, whenever they put on a movie, and for some reason they can't put on like a good movie like A Clockwork Orange, they got to put on a...
We're never going to put that on.
Why not?
Isn't that an R-rated movie?
So what?
No.
I mean, like, even in high school, there was a point where we were in speech class, we were sitting around, we didn't have anything to do, and the teacher put on Netflix, and she was asking, what should we watch? And I said, how about A Clockwork Orange? And it's like, why the fuck couldn't we watch Clockwork Orange? Like, what the fuck is up with that?
Oh,
but
for heaven's sakes, we had a whole armload of parents who were Karens in that school.
I don't care.
Well,
anyways,
that's why.
Kung Fu Panda was one of the few movies that I was like really okay with them putting on over and over. Like, they would put on... So the worst movies would be like, I would say the top worst would be The Polar Express. Despise that movie. They put on The Beauty and the Beast a million times to the point of where I got sick of it, even though it's like my favorite. They put on just all the same shit over and over and over again. There were only like 3 movies, and this is one of them that I really liked, and the others would be... Let's see. George of the Jungle and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Like, those are 2 good movies, good kids movies. But, like, usually it was just always the same shit. And it was so irritating, like, I just wanted to throw up. And so this movie, though, Kung Fu Panda 4, I didn't even know that this was coming out, like, until, like, a month or so ahead of time. And I really wasn't interested in it because the whole plot, it's basically a feminazi movie when it all boils down, when it all comes down to it. Like, this movie, it does exactly what you knew it would do, what all these franchises are doing. You have the male character, he was strong and badass in the first couple of movies, and what did they do? Oh, he can't be the hero anymore because a woman has to take his place. And so you have to have this strong, independent young woman, and she's got to show him up and prove that she's better than him.
Which one is that?
The Fox girl.
The Fox is a girl?
Yeah.
I thought it was a boy.
Woo! Safi,
What's the name of the fox? Jen.
That bitch is Aquafina. You know that annoying Asian woman who can't, her voice is awful. She's one of the worst actresses of this fucking lifetime. She is the fox.
I didn't know that. I thought it was a boy.
That annoying biatch. And I saw Aquafina and Kung Fu Panda. I was like, what the fuck is up with that? So that was another reason why I didn't want to watch this movie.
I didn't know who played any of the characters' voices.
But people voted for it. Jack Black? You didn't
Which
recognize
one was he?
the main character?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So is he Kung Fu Panda and all
You
of them?
know, Safi, usually you look stuff up, and I think this time would have been a good time to look stuff up.
Well, I haven't.
Dustin Hoffman. Dustin Hoffman.
Oh, really? I didn't know who any of the voices
Bryan Cranston.
Oh, really?
That one old Asian guy who's in a lot of stuff.
I don't know who that would be.
Oh.
Could be a number of people.
Well, you failed. And so, I was really not excited about watching this movie. And it was exactly what I knew it would be. Totally, from beginning to end. But somehow, it was okay.
I thought it was entertaining.
Yeah, it was just okay.
Yeah, it was a B, like a B.
There's a lot of problems with the movie. Number one, the agendas, clearly. I mean, the agendas are right there on the wall, and I'm so sick of, like, every single effing franchise, always nowadays, all that they're doing, basically, now, with these older franchises, is they make a new movie, and it's like, oh, the main hero, he can't be the star of the franchise anymore. A woman has to come in and take his place. Because, you know, women all have to be the stars of everything, and it can only be about strong women and strong independent female characters. Yeah, we can't have any strong independent male characters. They all have to step aside like little beta bitches. And that's exactly what this Kung Fu Panda movie was about. Should have been called Kung Fu Beta.
Whatever, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Beta male, alpha male, Kung Fu Beta.
Oh, okay. Well, you remember at the beginning, see, can't be the Kung Fu Panda anymore.
Bullshit.
So they want him to be, or whoever, is that Dustin Hoffman?
Dustin fucking Hoffman. He and his fucking bitch ass comes in here and he's like, hey, Poe, you gotta step aside now. You gotta be the
spiritual leader.
The spiritual leader of the valley. Never comes up in the rest of the film what that entails, and showing him trying to become the spiritual leader, because it's basically like, we don't care about that. We just care about the young woman who's gonna come in and take his place.
They don't know that at the beginning.
We, the audience, know what this movie's about.
They have at the beginning, when he tells them that, and then, like, the next day, they have these characters, and they all, like, audition for them or something.
And they brought in Mr. Beast into this fucking movie, too. Like, what's up with that, too? You get this famous guy, he's a YouTuber, he donates to charities, and it's like, oh, he can be in a movie. It's like, where the fuck did that come from? Like, Mr. Beast, like, what is Mr. Beast? Some, like, huge Kung Fu Panda fan? Like, why the fuck is he in here?
Jesus Christ.
Who cares about Mr. Beast? Why don't they get someone who makes sense for the series? Why do they cast people like Aquafina and Mr. Beast? What does that have to do with Kung Fu Panda? Why don't they get in Ralph Macchio or some other guy who's, like, related to, like, a karate or kung fu series or something like that? Like, why did they cast these people who nobody gives a flying fuck about?
I don't know. I didn't realize Marco was going to have a cow about the movie.
Oh, yeah, we haven't gotten started yet.
Well, let's not say we did.
The movie was just okay, though. Like, it wasn't bad.
No, I thought, since I had no awareness of any of that, I try to, in something like that, you try to recognize the voices to see if you can tell who they are, but I really didn't recognize any of the voices. Now, Marco's already told me who they are, most of them, and, that guy.
See, the old guy?
I think he died.
Did he?
He died last year. He was in,
Are you sure?
He was in that musical about San Francisco. Long time ago.
I don't like San Francisco.
I do. Oh my God, what happened to Jack Black? He looks like the werewolf. He's grown a big beard. I mean, at least in this picture.
He looks like that guy. There's this really gross guy on the internet, and he takes food ingredients and he goes to public sinks and he cooks the food in the public sinks. So, like, there's this one video where he was on an airplane and he went to the bathroom and he cooked food in the airplane toilet.
Gross!
And then he ate it. And that's what Jack Black looks like now. He looks exactly like that guy.
I wonder if he's playing in another movie where he has
No.
to look like that. He looks terrible.
Yeah, he doesn't look very good. But anyways, this whole thing about he has to step aside, it's never brought up, like, because the first movie, it's all about Jack Black becoming the Kung Fu Panda, becoming the great dragon warrior. And the reason why it's bothering to me is because Dustin Hoffman says, like, this isn't a step down, this is a step up to something that's bigger and better.
A spiritual leader.
But it's like we never see what that bigger and better thing would be. We never see any sort of details with that. It's just all focused on the strong, independent young girl becoming going in Jack Black's place. That's the only thing that matters to the people who made this movie. It doesn't matter about Jack Black's transition, because that's what the whole movie's about. It's about his acceptance of a strong, young, independent woman taking his place, and then he becomes the spiritual leader. Never get to see him becoming spiritual leader.
Well,
I guess
you do in little drips.
They're saving that for part 5. Another cash grab in the franchise.
That's probably true. But they did hint, because what they said was that he would come up with all these proverbs, sayings, and so every so often he'd come up with them. I'm getting better at this, and then at the end, and they. He's the one who picked his successor, and it wasn't. I guess that's Dustin Hoffman who picked him. And he said, "Are you sure?" And he wasn't completely on board with it. And he says, "That really what you want to do?" And
no, he accepted it by the end, Safi. I don't know what you were watching.
He did.
Oh, but you just said he wasn't totally on board.
No, not at first.
Oh, well, I already said that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, so,
yeah.
Like I said, I have not seen. I would like to see the first one to see what that's like.
First one's really good. It's very funny. This movie's not funny, and that's
not really.
This movie is the most predictable cliche movie on the planet. Like, you know exactly what's going to happen the entire movie. There's no surprises. They have a twist here and there that are not. It's not really anything to write home about. And I think the main thing that I was very disappointed by was that the villain, who's a chameleon.
Yeah, I guess so.
She has this power to
She's
change.
A sorceress.
She has this power to change into anyone and be like a shapeshifter. Like, if you guys remember the Goosebumps Slappy World, Please Don't Feed the Weirdo. And I was expecting, like, are we going to have some, like, intense parts where, like, you think that he's talking to this one character and it's not? And they really don't do that at all. They do that, like, a little bit in the middle, and then that's it. So I was really disappointed that the chameleon, her whole powers as a chameleon don't really... They don't really do anything at all, except for at the end where she's using all the different villains as fighting styles, and we'll talk about that too. Okay, Safi, what else do you have to say? Do you have to say anything?
Well, since I didn't know any of that stuff, I've never seen any of the other movies. I think we do have a Happy Meal Kung Fu Panda toy somewhere. And I didn't know who was playing any of the voices. And so I just watched it purely on just watching it. And it was the villain, I mean, right off the bat, it's a woman, but she reminded me of Randall from Monsters Incorporated, except
Yeah.
Randall was like plain, and this figure,
Randall was a much better villain.
and he was bigger.
And he wasn't the main villain, too.
No, there's another one. This character had little like plates around its face, little triangles, but she reminded me a lot of Randall. And then the story is, the panda guy, the kung fu panda guy, who's going to be the spiritual leader, and he gets this big, what do you call it, staff that's green, and it has a shape at the top, a loop shape, and it's supposed to make him more, I don't know what we call it, magical, spiritual, stronger, something. And he meets this little fox, and the whole story is the fox betrays him. And I'm thinking that sounds familiar, like we've seen this in another kids movie.
We've seen this entire plot before.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it before.
Every single thing that happens is like something that's already happened in another movie, and that's another problem, is that when it comes down to it, this movie didn't need to exist. And the reason is because they just keep on making these movies for money, and it feels like they don't really have any clear ending for the series. Because at the end of the last movie, which I actually liked part 3, I was like, it's the end. And then in this movie, I was like, it's the end. But it doesn't really feel like they want to end it because they just want to keep on doing more and more and more. And this movie could have been a good way to end the series, but I don't think it is going to be the end. I think they're going to have part 5 in a couple of years, too.
Yeah.
Because they just want to make more money.
And I haven't seen it before, but I had that feeling, too.
And I'll tell you something. I don't want to see part 5 where, the fox is in his place and he's just a stupid little spiritual leader. Like, that's not... Because the series is called Kung Fu Panda. If he's not the Kung Fu Panda anymore, then why the fuck would I want to watch it?
And what's it going to be called?
Kung Fu Fox?
Kung Fu Jen?
What?
The character's name is Jen. Jen, I think.
It is?
Yeah, I think so.
So you knew that the name of the character was...
It could be a guy. I thought it was like
You think that...
Asian.
Oh, God, Safi.
How would I know?
Oh.
I'm just not, I for some reason, I've seen this plenty of times, I don't know why I don't grasp it, but this agenda stuff is just like, it's almost kind of like a sickness. I don't know, it's...
Because it's just in everything.
And
yeah.
For some reason, I just can't believe I wasn't even thinking about that. And the villain, that could be the Wicked Witch of the West. So, I mean, that wasn't surprising. It could be a female, because it could change, and, it was a shapeshifter, and that shape-shifting thing is, that in and of itself, we've seen that in other shows, that it can be a very tricky thing to deal with.
And it's not really tricky to deal with in this movie. Okay, Safi,
No.
if you're going to keep doing that, get out of here. Well, maybe it wouldn't have trouble if this room wasn't so disgusting.
No,
in terms of the mold and whatever the fuck is in here.
it's dust.
Okay. Anyways, that's another part of the agenda thing, is that this villain, she is able to bring all the other villains from past Kung Fu movies,
Yeah,
Kung Fu Panda movies,
stick.
and she
staff.
sucks the talent out of their bodies. And so this female character, the female villain, she's able to dominate and over all the other male villains of the past 3 movies. And so that's another part of the agenda, is that, this female villain, she's so much more powerful and stronger than all the other male villains of the past movies. And when it came down to it, though, she really wasn't. And the final fight in this movie was really weak. The final fight was like 2 minutes long, and it was exactly what you think would happen. Kung Fu Panda fights with her a little bit, and then he's like, no, actually, I have to step aside and let the woman take care of things.
He didn't say it like that.
And then the fox kicks her ass, and it's like, yeah, fuck you. Like, this fight sucked. I went back and I watched the fights from the first movie and then the third one. I'll watch the second one someday. And I was like, these fights are a lot better. Like, this fight, it was so much more focused on, like, comedy and just spectacle. And, like, oh, she turns into this character. She turns into that character. And then she even morphs into this giant monster thing. Like, Pennywise at the end of It. Yeah. When he turns into the spider thing. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what she does in this movie. And it's just, it's stupid. I hated the final fight. Even though I thought the movie was okay, like, that was the worst part for me, was that final battle, because it was such a letdown based on, like, how powerful she was. It was such I don't know. What did you think of the final battle, Safi? Were you intrigued by it?
I thought it was just kind of short.
Yeah, it was very short. It was like they ran out of money or something. And they couldn't get the animators in the studio to make more battle.
I don't know. I guess, if and you're talking about the other films that came before, it does seem just like that they were doing I hate to say it, a cash grab.
Yeah.
And that's too bad.
Well, the third one, I guess, kind of felt like a cash grab, too. But the third one was a lot more fun. It didn't have any agendas. And, I think I even said that, because I think it came out in, like, 2017 or something. Safi? Oh, no, 2016. But I think when I talked about that movie, I talked about how, it was pretty fun. I think the bad guy was J.K. Simmons. Uh-huh. He played the bad guy. He did a really good job. And, yeah. But this fourth one, it's so cliche. It's so predictable. Safi?
Well, I just noticed Jackie Chan was in the other.
Yeah, they're in the other, Safi. You can learn all that yourself on your own time when you're doing your research about
Marco.
Kung Fu Panda.
Jackass.
What do you mean?
Well, anyway, based on my having exactly no knowledge of any of the other previous movies, I'm looking at it, I looked at it with a different perspective, and just like I said, the character of the bad guy, I told you it looked a lot like Randall, and then the storyline where the Kung Fu Panda guy, he said this was going to be his last adventure. And because his sensei or
Safi, we've literally already been through all that. Are you just going to repeat yourself over and over again?
Go have your last adventure. But anyway, this thing where you get this friend and then they betray you in the end, I've seen that before. It seems pretty common. And so, those are things I observed having no knowledge of anything about it. The fight scene in the end was... it seemed kind of short.
Yeah, I thought...
I'm trying to think about what was long in it, and I think the trek to the city, where they had to... They went through these... I don't know, they were trying to get food, and they were playing games, and I think the fox was cheating or something somehow, because I'm not sure. Look, I guess they were playing Mahjong, because I played that on the computer a lot.
A lot of this movie was kind of like filler, where they're just on the journey to getting to the bad guy. Yeah, and they're running away from the bulls, which are the police and stuff like that. And it wasn't very good, but, it
was okay.
It wasn't bad.
It was. I don't think it's bad for children.
I think it is bad, because I think that children... I don't think that little boys should be conditioned into believing that... when they reach the high point of success in life, that they should step aside and let someone else take their place. I think that that's a terrible message to give
insane?
to either boys or girls. Like, you should be taught to continue keeping your position until it's actually time for you to, retire or step aside.
Time.
Well, I mean, it's bizarre because the Kung Fu Panda, he's still a bumbling fool, and the whole thing of him becoming the great dragon warrior was that he would be a legendary badass who everyone would fear and know about, and he's still not that character in this movie. He's still the bumbling fool. And so until he becomes that character, he should be the dragon warrior.
Well, yeah, and the fact is, too, he's supposed to be stepping aside for somebody who has also this wisdom, and they can be a spiritual leader and impart all this wisdom to his people. And he just doesn't, he seems like he's not ready for that yet. But he's still able, more than able, to be a fighter.
Yeah.
And that was one thing I didn't like. I didn't like that part, but I don't know, for children, I mean, this kind of movie, it's kind of short and sweet, and I don't know, I'd rather some of the, like those Goosebumps, that Goosebumps series that we watched last year, it was crappy. And I'd rather your kid, of course, I guess this would be for younger kids, they watch something like this, which is just, simple and short and sweet, and then watch the other ones too, not just this one. And they might even see.
I don't think that children should be watching this movie.
Why?
Because this movie is clearly not for children. It's for adults who are like in their 50s or 60s.
What are you talking
They've ran the course. Like, why are people teaching children that they need to like give up and like step aside so that others can dominate over them? Like, it's just a stupid message. And the most cringeworthy part.
Like that either.
The most cringeworthy part was when we figured out why they had a chameleon as the villain in this movie. The reason why they had a chameleon, and you guys aren't going to believe this, is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Jack Black said something to the effect of like, chameleons, you guys know how to change all the time, but only on the outside you know how to change. But you gotta learn how to change on the inside too, because change can be good. And it's like, that's the message of this movie, Safi.
Oh.
Because chameleons, they know how to change on the outside. Like, that is the reason why we had to have a chameleon villain in this movie. That is so stupid. It's stupid. Kung Fu stupid.
Okay, well,
Safi?
I guess you don't care about any of that.
I mean,
messaging.
It's a fun movie, but like, it's just not. I'm sick of these movies that are just okay. Like, that movie, Kung Fu Panda 4, it was okay, it was fun. That's not good enough anymore.
Well, plus the fact that somebody suggested that we watch this. We would not have done this on our own.
No, 5 or 6 people suggested it. People voted.
Oh, that's right. Marco did that.
But I am kind of glad, though, because the other options were pretty terrible, so this was probably the best option out of the couple of choices. And, I mean, I would also say, too, I saw a movie last year that was so much better, and I can't remember what it was called, but it was also an animated kids film, and it was basically a kids version of Blazing Saddles. And it was really actually a lot better than this movie. But still, this movie, it's not the worst thing in the world. If you're above the age of 40 and you like Kung Fu Panda, then I would recommend you watch the movie. I would recommend to keep your children away from this movie so that they're not being indoctrinated into the message that they need to step aside and let a strong, independent woman take their place, because that's a We need to stop telling people, giving that message. It's not a good message. And I wouldn't even care if it was a girl stepping aside so that a strong man would take her place. I don't like the idea of this thing of like, Jack Black's character, they're going to make like 1 million more sequels, so he is clearly not done with being the great dragon warrior. Right. And I don't want to watch him be a spiritual leader where he's just like giving wisdom and sitting around. Like, I don't want to see that. That's stupid.
Not him either. That just doesn't.
Yeah.
Even the character. I'm not even familiar with the character, but that just doesn't seem like what the character would do.
Totally.
They really weren't. And throughout the movie, like I said, they weren't taking it seriously.
Yeah.
He was coming up with a little saying here and there, something like, I'll just say a saying so you know what I'm talking about. Like, what goes around comes around. That wasn't what he said, but he would say something like that throughout, several of them throughout the movie. And
they're kind of goofy.
The end, I'm getting better at this. And
yeah.
Big whip. Big whoop. Whatever. It was just, and it's more fun to see him fight, do the kung fu fighting. And the reason why, and I don't think Marco brought this up, but the reason why that the bad woman, the sorceress, wanted all these powers of these old arch enemies of the Kung Fu Panda that she brought out through the use of that staff, that green staff that he was given, and the fox had taken it away, because remember she, which I didn't even know that was working for the sorceress, she had never been able to learn kung fu because people said she's too small and all these other excuses, and so that's what she was doing. She was getting all their kung fu expertise from every single one of these bad guys that the Kung Fu Panda had defeated in previous movies. And so so anyway, that's why she did that. And so because she wanted to be a kung fu master, she'd always wanted to do that. But she just had to do the sorcery instead, and now that she had the opportunity, she wanted to take advantage of it. So that's what that was all about. That's why she was interested in those bad guys and getting that staff and being able to, pull them out somehow through it. But it didn't work. She got defeated, and when at the end, one of the bad guys, I guess maybe the last one that he had defeated, Marco ought to know, he grabbed her.
No, that was the guy from the first one, and
okay.
I will say that was probably my favorite part, was seeing the bad guys from the other movies come back and seeing him interact, even though you could tell in this movie they didn't have the money to get the voice actors, so like the one from the last movie, he didn't speak, the one from the second movie didn't speak. None of the side characters from the original movie could speak because they weren't even in the movie. Like, remember the tiger, the crane or whatever, like the mantis and all those, like those guys weren't even in this movie. And so that's another thing, is that like I just think that it should be like how it is, like the Kung Fu Panda fights alongside those guys. Like, I really don't like the Fox character at all. I like the guys that he was fighting with in the original movie. Well, actually, you saw them training the Fox in the end credits.
Right.
Yeah.
And had a lot to learn.
Yeah,
Didn't know everything right off the bat. It's just not something that's automatic.
I'll just say,
in real life, it's not automatic. You have to really train to do that stuff. And
I'll just say that, like, this movie is the equivalent of in Rocky 3, when Rocky has to fight Mr. T, it would be the equivalent of him stepping aside in that movie and being like, no, I'm going to let someone else take my place now and fight Mr. T. That's what it's like. And it's like, no, he still has juice in him. He's still got to get the brain damage in part 4. He's still got some stuff. He's got some stuff left to do. So.
Yeah, there were a couple of times where he was, they knocked him over a cliff, and because it's so dark, you don't see what happens to him. Well, of course, what happens is he grabs onto a stick or something that's coming out of the cliff, so he doesn't fall to his death. He gets saved. So I mean, how many times has that happened?
And that's another cliche too.
Yeah.
This,
so anyway,
this movie has every cliche in the book except for I don't know. I don't even want to think about it because I'm like, do they have some sort of like a system now where there's like a quota or like you have to have a certain amount of cliches so that people will automatically like it, like they like those other movies with these cliches in them?
I doubt it. I just think it's lazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Who wrote this movie? I don't know.
I think we should give our reviews and then wrap it up.
Yeah, we're both gonna take a quiz. What DreamWorks villain are you? We're gonna do that after we rate the movie.
I don't know.
We're gonna take the quiz, Safi. We're gonna take the fucking quiz. It's gonna tell you.
Oh, shoot. Okay, so anyway, I just give it. I like
licorice.
Cashew chicken.
You also like licorice, though.
And it's not very complicated. And when you get it from the Chinese restaurant, it's very simple. And it's a standby. So that's what I would give it. My usual order, actually, of cashew chicken. How about you?
I would give it, I haven't even come up with it yet, because, like, I would give it I would give it, like, a kid's cuisine meal, like, those frozen meals where they have, like, the star chicken nuggets,
they still have
and
those?
the chocolate pudding and the stupid vegetable, like, that's what I would give this movie.
Probably a good idea.
Like, it's okay, it's very simple, but it's not really the best thing for your children, and it's just kind of there, a kid's cuisine meal, I was, like, so not into those meals that I think I only had, like, 2 or 3 of those as a kid.
Those are gross. I didn't think they were very good. I didn't like buying them.
Well, they were okay.
You wanted it.
No.
Well, I got it if you wanted it.
Well, I like the chocolate part. That's the part that I liked.
Well, I mean, it looked gross. It looked fish. Ugh, God. Chicken, whatever it was.
Chicken.
Okay, so anyway, we've given our reviews. So if you like this video...
No, we're going to do the quiz now.
Oh, is that going to be part of this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're not getting out of that. Okay, so Safi, what is your sidekick? You have My Creation, An Army, Nobody, Nightmares, Witches from Harry Potter, Your Friends, A Strong Unbeatable Lion, or A Team. Which one?
I guess I work as a team.
Okay. I'm gonna do it quietly after this one. I'll do it really fast while Safi talks about colonoscopies or something. Okay,
I'm not gonna do that.
What if Kung Fu Panda had to get a colonoscopy?
No, don't be ridiculous.
That would be a good place where he could say, "Okay, you can step in for me." Okay, if you were granted a wish, what would you want? To make wishes, to get the thing you worked for in life, 3 magic beans and gold, to be believed in, or more wishes, or to get something on your wall, or nothing, or to be king.
Jeez.
Which one?
I don't know. I guess the 3 magic beans and your gold.
That's weird. What is your favorite DreamWorks villain? Well, this one would be tough.
See.
Well,
what you see?
Well, you've seen Megamind. Okay, so Megamind, that guy from Megamind with Will Ferrell. We saw it in theaters. Rumpelstiltskin. I haven't seen all these either. Which one do you want to pick?
I don't know. I guess Megamind.
Okay. If you found on a wallet on the floor, what would you do? Leave it, steal it, blow it up, shoot it, return it because you're not heartless. And then why do I care about a stupid wallet? I don't need money right now. Steal it and buy me a life.
Okay,
Which one?
Well, I don't know. Turn it in, which really is
Okay, return it.
I just had something like that where when we went to visit somebody in the hospital, out in the parking lot on the way to the car, I found somebody's driver's license.
Oh,
somebody
wow.
who worked at the hospital.
What is your
so
weapon?
I took it back in.
What is your weapon? A cannon? Your fist? Your brain? Determination? Persuasion in others? Entertainment? Nightmares? Or your lion? What's your weapon? Is it
I don't know.
your inability to do a good review?
My determination.
Okay. Why are you in detention? You were playing a trick on the principal. You are bad, or you are sorry you don't even know why you're there, or you are crazy. That's why. Which
I'm
one?
sorry. I don't know why I'm even there.
Okay. I think last one. Are you ready to see what you got?
Sure.
Sure. Okay, let's see who you are. You are Makunga from Madagascar 2. You like to use people to get what you want, and you love being the leader. Okay.
I haven't seen that movie either.
Well, I saw a little bit of it, and I turned it off because I thought the first one was enough.
Yeah.
The second one was a letdown. So, Safi, talk about Kung Fu Feminazi while I do this quickly. Safi, talk.
I can't do that.
Talk.
I thought it was a male character, and I know who that actress is. I've seen her, I think, on Saturday Night Live. Like, maybe when she first became known. And I don't know what she was in or what she did. Maybe she's a comedian or something. I don't, and that's, the show is put on by comedians. So I don't know. I just thought, because, think about this, the Fantastic, what is that? Fantastic Four, that the last one that they...
Oh, yeah. I am Tai Lung from Kung Fu Panda. You work alone, and you care about your loved ones, and you are fast working. Suck on that, Safi.
I don't care.
Beat that. You're fucking Madagascar 2 villain. Who cares about Madagascar 2?
I don't know. I've never seen it. I'm trying to think if I've seen Madagascar 1. I think I did see
God,
it.
Safi, you saw that movie a couple of times.
It's been a long time. We don't really watch shows like this.
But that's a good movie. You should remember it.
I don't have any small children.
That doesn't matter.
When I was a mother with small children,
That doesn't matter.
I would go to all those, pretty much, most of the kids' shows, movies. And
We have Madagascar on DVD, Safi. I
what?
watched it a couple of times.
Okay, so good for you. Okay, so you found out I don't know.
What villains we are.
What villains we are.
Yeah, I am Tai Lung.
And I'm Makunga. Which I don't even know if that's a Swahili word, because I've taken Swahili. I had to learn Swahili.
It is a male lion, so you are...
I don't know, I have to look it up. Simba is the lion in Swahili. So anyway, so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I appreciate the suggestion to watch it. If my other son wants to know about, because he has a second grade daughter, she's more into...
Okay, let's not talk about personal stuff.
Well, anyway, I'll keep it in mind. So anyway, that's it. And goodbye, everybody.
Bye!